Is this the global end of all EVs? It is no shocking news that the electric vehicle market is not buzzing as much in the USA, but what is shocking is that even Chinese EV manufacturers are feeling this wave. What could be the cause of this? We'll give you a hint. The lack of cooperation between two certain countries, USA and China. With China hoarding the essential materials needed to make EVs affordable and better, it is logical to think the EV market in China would flourish, but that is far from the truth. In 2019, over 500 EV companies were registered in China, and the government backed these companies up with various incentives by pumping billions of dollars into the industry. Fast forward to 2024, and the number of companies still open are down to less than 90. 500 to 90 is just mind-boggling. Which companies have gone bankrupt? Why have these companies shut their doors? And what does this mean to the Chinese EV market and the world? Follow us as we answer these questions, and remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel. Many EV manufacturers in China have closed their doors and completely shut down production, despite the fact that the amount the Chinese government has spent on EVs could host extravagant events like the Olympics or the FIFA World Cup multiple times over. On the list of failed EV companies is Neutron, and Letton's bankruptcy was even much more shocking. This is because at one point, they were the Tesla killer. Letton, in terms of sales numbers, was ahead of Tesla during the 2015 and 2016 market year. They sold hundreds of thousands of EVs during these years. Alright, let's break down the recent case of WM, a promising EV maker in China that recently filed for bankruptcy. WM was once hailed as one of the richest startups in the country, rubbing shoulders with big names like NIO. Backed by major Chinese players like BYD and Tencent, WM received a whopping $5.3 billion in funding. However, even with this hefty sum, it couldn't secure a solid spot in China's ultra-competitive EV market. The pressure on Chinese EV makers is no joke. They not only have to keep up with the latest tech, but also ensure their products are super affordable. Unfortunately, WM struggled to adapt, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, which intensified the already fierce price war. The company faced significant losses, totaling a staggering $1.2 billion. Some companies, like Kishan Auto Holdings, had plans to swoop in and acquire WM. But with the bankruptcy filing, the fate of such deals hangs in the balance. On the flip side, WM Motor is gearing up for a major overhaul. They're on a mission to restructure massively and woo new investors to bounce back stronger than ever. It's a challenging journey, but as they say, when life gives you lemons, make electric lemonade. You see, price plays an important role in any market. It not only determines how many customers are able to get a product, but also determines if the manufacturing company will keep its doors open for long. The Chinese EV market is extremely challenging due to the imposed EV prices by the government. Smaller EV companies suffer this the most for obvious reasons. What is unexpected is to see even the big EV companies struggling. These companies tend to need new investments to simply stay afloat in the game. To put it simply, for EV companies, capital is a massive problem. NIO is a perfect example to describe this. NIO is one of the leading EV companies in China with more than 11,000 employees. Numbers like this make it seem the company has its roots deep in the Chinese EV market. But here is another number for you, 8,000. The company was only able to sell 8,000 EV units last year, which is nowhere near what the company was expecting. You need to understand that NIO is a large-scale manufacturer. This company has invested millions into manufacturing robots in its factories, with the aim to speed up the production process and deliver EVs to millions. In an attempt to capture more of the market shares, NIO offers some of the most advanced EVs in China, with features like advanced self-driving systems, augmented reality glasses, and many more. Unfortunately, the sales numbers were still very low to compensate for the amount of money that has been poured into the manufacturing process, and as a result, NIO reported losses of $35,000 per EV sold. This does not include EVs not sold and losses from other aspects of the company. These sales tumbling at such a large scale meant that NIO had to look for more investors just to keep its gate opened by making some moves. Some of the moves were quite easy to predict, starting from the capital infusion from Abu Dhabi for a 7% stake in return, as well as a massive financial injection from the local government of Hai. Some customers of the company believe the founder and CEO William Li was to blame for the predicament of the company, which was why he was attacked by fans at a customer gala dinner. Is this a sign predicting even worse sales? Well, only the future will tell. Every EV manufacturer in China is losing money due to competition. Let's make a quick comparison between Li Auto and Edo. Li Autos is known as a manufacturer that produces high-end, high-tech electric crossovers on which they do not make enough profit. And now the threat is coming from a new startup, Edo. This company released a new model, the M7, which was direct competition to Li Auto's SUV models. Edo has pretty much the same features as Li Auto's S7, but can be bought for significantly less money. Can you see it? Can you see how in such a set of circumstances where new startups are constantly cutting prices to establish a position on the market, the growth of everyone in such a market is jeopardized? Let's delve into the wild world of startups, where only the ones with big backers seem to stand a chance. Take Zer, for example, a brand birthed by the mighty G. This startup is eyeing the global stage as its ticket to survival amidst the domestic price battles. They've got a plan: fancy EVs for Asia and Europe, and robo-taxis for North America. Now let's talk about Evergrande's new energy vehicle group. This was once the golden child of the car world, touted as Tesla's big rival. But things took a nosedive. With just 1,300 EVs sold and a whopping $24 billion loss, it's safe to say they hit rock bottom. Imagine losing $17 million on every car you sell. Ouch, no wonder they're closing shop. But wait, this drama's not just local. It's shaking up the global auto scene too. China might still lead the EV game, but it's a whole new ballgame now. The big names are gobbling up the market share like hungry sharks, leaving little room for the little guys. Last year, the top 10 EV companies snatched up a whopping 80% of sales, and BYD from China is leading the pack, selling millions of cars. Meanwhile, a third of those 90 EV makers? They're barely scraping by, selling less than 2,000 cars a year. And brace yourself, because the storm isn't over yet. Experts predict that at least 20 more companies are about to go belly up. It's survival of the fittest out there, and right now, the big fish are feasting while the small fry are getting swallowed whole. On the global scale, EVs are just scraping by. It is not like there is a major jump in sales, but it is a better margin for EV manufacturers. The first thing you need to understand is that all EVs are relatively new. Mass production of EVs did not really kick off until this decade. This means that to know how many EVs have been sold globally, you have to get the number of new cars sold and compare that with the number of EVs sold. The sales per year can be explained simply when we take into account the past few years. The year 2020 did not show a significant growth in overall new car registrations. This is because the global market for all types of cars ground to a halt as they were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which was swiftly followed by an economic downturn. Considering just the EV market, electric vehicles struggled. When we then consider the general car market, the outlook for global EV sales struggles more and becomes quite unpredictable. Towards the end of 2020, however, sales growth made it a surprisingly positive year, with global EV sales growing by a mind-boggling 43% compared to 2019, and the global EV market share rose to a record 4.6% in 2020. The growth continued through 2021, and more people had access to EVs because more manufacturers were jumping on board. But things took a downturn for the worse towards the end of the year as sales dwindled. Most people thought a rise in sales was possible by 2024. The predicted rise in sales for the 2024 year would have been possible if not for the rise in sales that had occurred in the last few years. More people now used EVs, which made their flaws more noticeable. People started complaining of the bad range drop on EVs in cold weathers. EV fires became more rampant. Repair costs were through the roof. Many more negative remarks surfaced online which discouraged future buyers. In some sense, the success of EVs is to blame for the failure of EVs. That EVs could be the future of transportation. However, the future is wrought with manufacturers facing issues. Will the different problems be attended to or are going to see the slow death of EVs? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more.